Here's a guy that's always looking young and fresh, Jared Dumba, our hockey analyst from the hockey-playing Dumba family. Jared, welcome to the program today. And I'm going to jump right into it. If you don't mind, I take a swing at this. Our poll question, Jared, today for EMJ Marketing is, which team is in the most trouble? Which winless NHL team is in the most trouble right now? Sharks, Canucks, both 0-1-1, I believe. Predators 0-3, or Avalanche 0-4. Who's in the most trouble?
Well, I'd have to say the Sharks, just because I don't think that they don't have the team that Vancouver or Colorado has. Even in Nashville, they're going to turn it around there. They got a lot of new faces in there, trying to figure out the room dynamic with Stamkos coming in. Those guys will all get going. Not really worried about those guys. I think San Jose would be in the most trouble just because they're young. But it's not a bad thing to have all those young guys thrown in the fire. Let them get their reps in. Let them get beat up a little bit and get hungry. Get another high draft pick, and they're only a few years away from starting to make some noise.
Well, I guess that's what makes sports talk fun, because these opinions are like belly buttons. Everybody's got one, and most stink, and everybody's got a different answer to the poll question for EMJ Marketing, by the way. I'll just say, folks, by the way, the show moves fast. All the good ones do. I appreciate the comments on the Mike Kelly interview earlier. I'll read them later on in the viewer takeover. What if I rephrased it, Jared, and said this? Which coach is in the most trouble? Because you got Andrew Burnett there over in Nashville at 0-3. You got Jared Bednar's not going anywhere anytime soon with the 0-4 Avalanche. And I can't even remember the guy's name in San Jose. I guess he's lucky they're in a rebuild.
Yeah, they're in a rebuild. He's fine. I mean, if you had to pick one of the bottom teams, you'd probably say Brunette, because they got such good players and they're not doing anything. Like you said, Bednar's locked in there. He's got a cup ring. He's not. I don't think he's going anywhere anytime soon. But I honestly don't think we're going to see as many coaches fired as we did, say, last season. I think they're all going to stick around, because I think they're going to turn it around real quick. I mean, nobody's going to fire anybody before 20 games, and I think they'll all get their stuff going. San Jose will win the odd game here and there, but there's no expectations. So their coach is sitting fine. I think if there's anybody fired, it's going to be somebody taking a real dive in the kind of that mid 2/3 of the season. If somebody starts taking a dive there, you might see somebody panic and switch it up. But I don't think we're going to see a lot of coaches fired this year.
I hope you're right, and for their sake, I definitely hope you're right. And I know Jared follows the whole league. We're going to jump around here fast. He can cover it all. But we have a lot of viewers in Calgary, as you know. Edmonton as well, but we hear more from the Calgary fans, and they legitimately think their Flames are going to make the playoff. They're 4-0. I don't. Where are you on that?
I think it's a great story right now. You trade your number one goaltender away, you trade a bunch of your big guys away, and you start off 4-0, and they've looked good doing it. I've only caught a couple of their games, but they've looked really good. Obviously, really well coached with Huska there. I don't know. It's tough. They could be pushing for that bubble spot. I don't think they're going to be a shoe-in for the playoffs. The Oilers are going to get going. There's guys like the Ducks are playing a lot better this year. They're 2-1. San Jose can come in if Calgary sleeps on them. Excuse me. They could steal one from them this year. It's not going to be easy. Right now, it has been easy, but a lot of times that's because teams are looking at Calgary and going, "Oh, they're in a rebuild. They've still got some good guys, but they're in a rebuild. They got rid of this guy. They got rid of that guy." And I'm not so sure the teams haven't taken them a little bit lightly going in there. And one of their wins is also against Chicago, who's still, they've got some better players, but they're still a bottom place team.
Who everybody beats. Yeah. Well, here's another one.
Yeah.
I was watching the Pittsburgh-Buffalo game last night. It was 2-0 Sabres before most people had sat down. Tristan Jarry gets pulled, and they bring in the backup, and the Penguins rally. And Sid the Kid scores the overtime winner, his 1,600th point, as you know, if Jenny Malkin scored his 500th career goal, all in the same game. But the big word out of Pittsburgh is Tristan Jarry is just not NHL adequate goaltending material. Former Edmonton Oil King. If you're Pittsburgh, Jared, and you got all this high-end talent up front who is on the back nine, putting out on 18. Let's be honest. Crosby and Mel. Erik Karlsson, too. What are you doing? What are you going to do?
I don't know. I think GM's in tough there because you kind of got to listen to whatever Sid and Gino want, and they didn't want to move on, and so you can't really rebuild. You got to keep your older guys around. At the same time, Jari, man, he was so good a couple of years ago, and yeah, it just seems like he's fallen off a little bit. I don't know what to do. If I honestly, I've always liked Nedeljkovic. If I was the GM and the coach, I'd be trying to play Jari, hoping he has 3 or 4 good games in a row. Just ride him, and then see if you can get anything for him. Even if it's a younger guy, a role player, someone that can help mix in, to kind of add to that depth a little bit. Got to shore up their defensive game a little bit too. You're not going to win every game 6-5. Malkin's on a hot start, so Sid will always be, but those guys aren't going to be able to continue that pace throughout the whole 82 game schedule. So that's such a tough one in Pittsburgh. I would just be trying to make little tweaks here and there just to add the depth, even if you had to trade more future, even though that's going to put them in a hole later. But if you're going for it for Sid and Gino, you got to do everything you can right now.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's like Tristan Jarry's the problem in this. The bottom has fallen out on his play right now, and judging by body language last night, I think he's cooked. But if you wait until close to the trade deadline to get a goalie from a non-contending team, you're going to be out of it by then. Like Pittsburgh needs to do something now, and I don't know what that would be. Now, our hockey analyst Jared Dumba is with us. Would you mind telling our viewers if you can, your relation to Matt Dumba? What do you guys, second cousins, third cousins?
Yeah, our grandpas are brothers, so I guess his dad would be technically my cousin. I think my third cousin. Him and my dad are first cousins. So whatever that makes me and Matt, I don't know how that all works. But his brother Kyle lives in town now. He lives close. Talk to him all the time. He's in Dallas right now with Matt. He might be back by now, but he just went down for a trip. So yeah, we're I was playing pro hockey when Matt was young, and so I really didn't get to see him play growing up, and then they moved to Calgary. As soon as I came out of pro, he was getting in junior, so we never we see each other in the summer sometimes, but so we weren't real close and hanging out a lot. But it's kind of nice now that everybody's getting older and get to hang out with Kyle a lot and take care of his dog sometimes when he's on the road. But yeah, that's kind of the family connection there. Is we're starting to see each other a little more and more now that as we get older. But he's a great kid, good head on his shoulders. He can do anything he wants, that guy. He's just got that mentality.
Of course, he's a Dumba. But what's interesting is you guys weren't close enough that you cheered for all of his teams throughout his career, like the Stars and the Lightning and the Wild and whoever else. You are a Leafs and a Kings fan, if I may. Well, I know for sure your dad Al's a Leafs guy. You're a Kings fan. So did that hurt you last night? When the two teams met, Toronto and LA, did you watch that one?
I just don't know what's going on. It seems like Blake will make one good move, one bad move, one good move, one bad move. And, obviously the Pierre-Luc Dubois move last year was kind of mind-blowing. That could have worked out, but I think he was swinging for the fences on the last pitch with a full count. Didn't work out, obviously, struck out on that one. Now, goaltending situation, a lot of us were saying 2-3 years ago when Quick was on the way out, you got to trade some of those young guys. A couple of those, they had the number one stock cupboards in the league. Everybody was saying, everybody knew it. I think that they kind of missed the boat waiting on those guys a little bit. And some of them didn't really pan out. It was kind of clogged up a little bit there. That can make it tough on guys. It's nice to see some of them. My buddy Khalil Thomas's son, Akil, nice to see him, playing some games. He got some points last year. You're seeing a couple of young guys finally jump up. But I think they missed an opportunity to move some of those guys for a solid goaltender from, a bottom place team. I think that's really what's missing right now. Obviously, the Doughty injury doesn't help, but there's there's a lot of good players, but still kind of, for me, I'm a little confused on the direction sometimes. But with that being said, they do have the pieces. They get Doughty back. Maybe they do trade for a goaltender before the deadline, and all of a sudden we're talking a whole new ball game if they get into the playoffs.
And that's the Kings side. For the Leafs, Serena and I were watching them the other night. I can't remember who they were playing. She's like, this is a good team. I'm like, they always are, especially now. Yeah. And to say, is this the year, is just such a cliche. But is this the year?
You know what? I said this to Dad about 2 or 3 weeks ago, just kind of watching. I was going through the rosters. I was thinking about how, might take a little time off the hop, which it did in the preseason, but they're already coming around. New coach is going to be great for them, I believe. Berube is going to really push them, and I think he'll spread out the minutes a little more, where he makes other guys feel a little bit more involved in the bottom six. With the defense they got, I said a couple weeks ago, I think this is their year. I think that they're going to win it this year, surprise some people. They're too deep right now, and I think Marner and Matthews, especially Marner in a contract year, I think they're going to know, okay, this is it. This is it. We got to step up, or things are going to change. And I know they all love each other, love the city. I think this is the year where they finally bring it all together, and if they do, look out, because everybody's going to be trying to go to Toronto, and they could put a little run together if they do pull it off this year.
You see the healthy scratch Max Pacioretty? You see that's the big news, eh? What do you think about that?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Was he healthy? Did he have a little bit of a sub? Are they just trying to rest him? As he's, he hasn't played a lot lately. Yeah.
I think he was healthy.
I don't know. I didn't mind him. I don't watching the games. The games I've seen so far, I haven't minded him the way he's played. He's not the old Pacioretty by any means. So who knows what's going on there? They could have something else up their sleeve where they have their eye on somebody else that they know is available. Maybe. Who knows? But a little bit surprising to see that, honestly, because you kind of thought the guy's getting in his groove a little bit. A great depth player for the team who can move up the lineup if necessary. But I'm not sure what was behind all that.
Well, as they say, and you know what I'm saying when I say this, do you think Montreal got it wrong? Do you think Vegas got it wrong? Do you think Carolina got it wrong? Do you think Washington got it wrong? You know what I mean? Anyways, Jared, we're out of time. This has been fun, man. Appreciate you. Keep in touch.
Thanks a lot, brother. You have a great day. We'll chat soon.
Thank you, man. Jared Dumba.